Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 1 Point Safety Show with myself, Scott Hartley, and my outstanding co-host, Scouse Andy Lockhart. How are you, Scouse? You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are things for yourself, man?
All good, mate, this side. It's all good. Always good to talk ball with you. It's good to have you back. Today, mate, we've got a really interesting one involving the Commanders. What we're going to look at today is if the Commanders trade back in the draft and they still land their guy. I'm talking about Mansoor Delane. Sounds risky, Scouse, but it might actually be smart. What do you think?
I think he's a great corner. I think it'd be an excellent signing if we got him. So, yeah, I think seven's a little high.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it'd be a trade back, but then the thing is, you can't really trade back that far because I know Dallas are heavily involved in him, and ever since the Chiefs got rid of their main McDuffie, and they sorted out the running back problem, I can see him not going past 9. So this could be a problem. So this could be a problem. So, yeah, I mean, I'd say he's a quality corner. I think he is a lockdown. I think him and McCoy are the best corners by far in this draft. The only problem is with McCoy is his problem with his ACL. He's just come back off an ACL. So, again, it might knock his draft stock a little. So you might be getting more towards the end of the first for him. But I do think... yeah, I mean, Delane, I wouldn't be unhappy if we got him, to be fair. What do you think?
No, me neither. I think he is as lockdown can get. Thank you for everybody who is in the chat. Yam and Jesse, we appreciate you being here. A few internet issues to start off with, but we will get there. So before we get into it, Scouse, I've got something here. We've got a subscriber push and a giveaway. So before we get into it, I need to ask people something. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. But right now, what we really need to help is to get to our next goal, which is 500. So here's the deal. If we hit 500 subscribers before the 2026 NFL draft, we will give away a jersey of the Washington Commanders pick in the first round. So if you're watching right now, you could be the one who wins this. So if you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. It genuinely helps us grow. Please help us do this and get to 500. Type done in the chat. If you're on now, or if you're watching this after we've been live streamed, type done as a comment, and that will just see how many people we get it out to. And then what we'll do is we'll go do a Wheel of Doom on the show just after the draft, in fact, and then we will make sure that we get that out to you. So, yeah, we'll get into it then. So, hypothetical scenario, but a realistic one, Scouse. Should the Commanders trade back and target Mansoor Delane? Are you trade back or are you stay put?
I think that this is always a hard one for me because at 7, you know you're going to get yourself a nice blue chip player. You know you're going to get one. Mm-hmm. There's at least 8 to 10, I reckon, genuine blue chip players in this draft. Even though you might think, that's quite high, that really. But I really do believe that. There's just some very, very talented guys in this draft, especially at edge, especially, at DB. We mentioned Downs last week. We mentioned Delane, McCoy, I could just mention then. There's high-quality DBs in this draft. Would I try and trade down? Now, the only way I would trade down, on my list, on my big board, he would be 3rd on my list.
Right, okay.
I think Downs is my 1st, Love is my 2nd, and he's my 3rd. So if those 2 are gone, I'm definitely looking to trade down. But if one of them's still there, I'm taking that guy ahead of him. And there's no knock against Delay. I think he's great. It's just the other guys, I just like them more. So it's kind of... So, what do you think? I mean, I just think that Delane won't go past 9. I really don't. I really do think the Chiefs are going to go in there after getting rid of McDuffie. So
yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think that is probably his flaw, at the moment. I mean, I know there's been lots of talk of the Cowboys going at 12, but as you said, I don't think he lasts that long to get there. So it's difficult. I mean, why would you even consider this? I mean, we're not one piece away, are we, as a roster? But it does lock down the back end, I suppose. But you could say the same for a lockdown safety with Caleb Downs, who I know you're extremely high on. Trading back obviously gives you more picks, more depth, more flexibility. We all know that. But there's risks. The risk is, do you lose your guy? I mean, do you trust the board, or do you take your guy? I mean, that's the point. I mean, Will's got a really good point here in the chat. He says the next 5 teams after our pick all need corner. Stay at 7 if Delane is your guy. Jesse's also chimed in. He says, I'd say there's more, maybe 2 blue chip players and about 10 to 11 total players that have got a first round grade on them.
I think there's more than that. I think it's been a bit harsh there on some of the guys, or the blue chipper.
I think there's prospects here, but it's not an amazing draft top to bottom. But I do think there are generational talents out there. I think there is a few in here.
Every draft player coming through is always a potential blue chipper. They're not definitely blue chippers. You know what I mean? The only blue chippers after, you're looking at your 3 to 4 seasons in, really, unless they're all pro first year, which is rare, but it does happen. But most of the time, you're looking at 2 or year 3, you're thinking, okay, this guy's legit. This guy's a real top 5 guy in this position. So I mean, and I do think there's a bit more than 2. But again, maybe I'm being too exaggerated with 10, maybe. But it's just, I mean, I say, what would you do? Would you stay at 7 and go Delane, or would you actually come out and go, well, you know what, I'll take the risk and I'll try and trade down and see what we get?
I think if they're all in on Delane, which I don't think they are all in on Delane, it's kind of the way I look at this is it's Delane or an Ohio State defensive player, or Carnell Tate. That's it. Any of them I'd take. I mean, you could add Ruben Bain in there if he falls potentially as well. So there is talent, and that's the problem. The problem is, and we've said this time and time again on the show, and you bring it up a lot as well, is I think at 7 we can't miss, really, unless we do something outstandingly stupid, which we can talk about. If we draft an offensive tackle or something like that, I'd be, this fan base would go into absolute meltdown. Or a centre at 7. Yeah, I mean, what that would be insane.
Or a new left tackle, we got one of the best in the game there. Something stupid like that. It's just like, wait.
But that's not. We know how this has worked, and we've seen the blueprint from free agency. We know that, Adam Peterson, we've got to get younger, better, stronger, and he seems to have moved with this defense by signing the edge rushers we've signed, by solidifying the back end with someone like Leo Chenal, by putting Nick Cross in there. He's a sideline to sideline safety. He's got the speed. He can tackle. He can blitz. He can do all of that. That solidified this defense as it is at the moment by the looks of it. I'm not saying we're there, but it's definitely improved on where we were, with older prospects and older players last year. So does a cornerback put you in? Does it put you over the top? He is the best cornerback in the draft, no doubt about it. And would he be the best cornerback on this team? Absolutely. He is CB1 on this team the minute day one he walks in. I watched his pro day. I watched the way he's moved. I mean, we'll get into it. So physically, he's aggressive. He can play downhill. He's a tone setter. He ran a 4.38 and a 4.36 according to his pro day. Now, let's just for argument's sake say he's got 4.4 speed. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of where we're at, because we know what it's like at a pro day. It's who's timing it. What does it actually, what does it actually say? You're in the nice environment, all that sort of stuff. But it's the fluidity of the hips that I look at. It's the movement of the way that he's turning. He's got incredible footwork. His speed to the ball, sideline to sideline speed there. I mean, this is I think he will be a top cornerback in the NFL in the next 3 years. I mean, have you seen his stats from this year? Twice in the entire year, when they threw to him, he gave up over 20 yards. Twice. His passer rating was 29. Again, he had a passer rating of 29. You get more if the QB throws the ball out to the other side, out of bounds every time. You have a higher QBR. What is going on? He got 2 interceptions as well last year. I mean, he is as lockdown can get. 13 targets in the total in the last 5 games. That's ridiculous. He's ridiculously strong.
And this is it. You see, there's a lot of talent on the. I mean, there's a lot of talent on Ohio's team, but he didn't do that well really in the playoffs or anything like that. They weren't that good, but
for LSU.
Sorry, what?
For LSU.
LSU. Is that what he's at? He's at LSU, is he? My bad.
Yeah, he's at LSU. Yeah, no, it's okay. I know what you meant. Sorry, mate.
No, it's fine. Yeah. I say, it's just one of them things. I say Delane. I say he's top level. I think he genuinely is. I think he's the best lockdown corner. I think McCoy's a close second. I think
agreed.
Some people might argue either way. People might say McCoy's better. I mean, I think Deuce has mentioned that before on his pods. He thinks that McCoy's the better corner, which is fair enough. But for me, the way it's looking now that it isn't just about how crazy his stats are. It's those things that I say at Pro Day. It's how fast he is. It's how smooth he is in his hips, which we know top corners have to be fluid. They've got to be able to run backwards at that speed. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. So, it's definitely a skill set. And he's gonna do well in the league. He really is. So it's just a case of what do you want to do now? If you go corner, then that would show up the back end, which then would give more time to the edge rushers to actually get to the quarterback. Because
plus the other side of the coin,
yeah,
the other side of the coin, Scout, is if you've got a good pass rush, it gives the corners more time. So
exactly.
do you need this elite corner? Which we're obviously at this time we're looking at this and saying, hey, well, this is what we're looking at for Mansoor Delane. In a trade back scenario, absolutely, if he's still there. I mean, Yam has a really good point here as well. Let me just pull that one up in the chat. He said, honestly, the more and more I look at our free agent picks and re-signings so far, they're pretty solid. Just need a bit more depth and 1 or 2 home run hitters in key positions, regardless of what side of the ball. Yeah, I agree with you. Will says here he played his freshman year as a safety at VT. He throws his head in there as well. Yeah, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. It helps that he tackles. Do you know what I mean? And then Jesse obviously points this out as well. He played with a torn abdomen as well. Wow, I mean, that is mad.
I mean, to play at a high level with that's impressive. To be fair,
yeah,
because
it is.
That's your abdominal muscles. Yeah,
and then obviously Yam says, honestly, I think staying put at 7, but taking whoever in number 1 on AP's big board, the plays we're going to get is a guy. Yeah, absolutely agree with that. So Will says he wouldn't trade back. Yam says he wouldn't trade back. Jesse says it depends on the offer. Yam also says 7 is a perfect spot. Put it in the comments on the chat. If you're watching this after the live stream, put it in on the comments on YouTube. Would you trade back? Yes or no? Give us your honest assessment. I mean, we'll answer all the comments that are out there. We'll come back to you. So yes or no, would you trade back with that? Let's have a look. So
agree, Jesse.
Quick reminder.
So you don't care what Deuce says. Delane's number 1.
I think Delane's number 1. I do. I absolutely do.
I believe that as well. But some people do have him rated over him. That was just the idea of bringing Deuce into it because he did mention that. But yeah, I mean, I say if we go for one of the guys that I mentioned, my top 3 guys, I say you're not going to miss. You ain't going to miss on those guys. Those guys are top draw. Who
are your top 3 guys?
So in this order, if for me it's Downs, I'd have Downs.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not there,
even at 7.
Yeah, at 7. Yeah. I'm not trading down, just at 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then if Downs is not there, I'm going Love. And if they're both not there, then Delane. That's where I'm going. That's my top 3 in that order. Now again, people will disagree with that. They'll think Love first and all the rest of it, and that's fine. I just think Downs would make. He won't be the splash player. He won't be like, running 90-yard interceptions for touchdowns and stuff. It's not his thing, but he will make our defense so much better. Like he'll make anybody else play better, even if he doesn't show up. He won't stand like a sore thumb. He'll be the total perfect team player. And I just think he'd be great for us. But yeah, what do you think?
Jesse says Downs with his knee. No thanks. I mean, he hasn't had a knee problem.
That, bro.
That's one report from someone on Twitter.
Kind of bullshit in there. That's like one of those gas mask things again. You know what I mean?
Larry Tunsil made him a 30 million tackle. So
yeah, what's wrong with his knee, man? I mean, everybody else. I think what one place said that, and like 25 other people said no. It's a load of bollocks. So don't get too worried about his knee. Not wrong with it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Downs could definitely take a P6 back to 90. He was a great kick returner. Pick six, yeah.
I mean, you know, if he does that for me, I'd be very happy. Do you know what I mean? I'm just not expecting that. But if it happens, yeah, we're very happy with that.
Okay, so quick reminder while we're mid-show, if you're enjoying this, hit subscribe. Don't forget to do that. We're pushing for 500 before the draft. No, he wasn't at the combine. No, I'm not. I don't think he was. No, saying they found a partial tear at the combine, says Jesse. Yeah, I saw a report on that. But I only saw it from one Twitter account. I haven't heard anything about that at all. So, I mean, is it scary? If it's true, yes. Okay. I need to look at that, Jesse. If you're saying it's been reported by Keim, I haven't seen that either. Was it his pro day, or was that at the combine? Because I haven't seen anything or heard anything about a mysterious knee injury.
If he's got a partial tear of whatever he's talking about his knee, I mean, if he's moving like he was with a partial tear, then you know I'm even more buoyed. You know what I mean? Because he was smooth as hell, man, smooth as glass.
So we're pushing for 500 before we get to the draft, so we can give away a Commanders jersey, first round jersey. So whoever it is, don't miss out on that. Put in the chat, subscribed, put done, and then we'll know exactly who has subscribed and who hasn't to the show. So thank you for that. How do you think this plays out then? So let's look at a potential trade back. So Commanders would trade back to 9 with Kansas City. And obviously, I think they're coming up for somebody, but I wouldn't know who they're going to come back for. Mansoor Delane is still on the board. Do you think that's realistic or not? Or do you think they're going to take Mansoor Delane or a corner?
At 9, yeah, I think I genuinely believe his stock has gone up, because I think at the start of this draft process, we were saying maybe 15, 10, 14, something like that. And then we thought, maybe Dallas will probably take him at 12. So that's like probably like the lowest he's going to go. Sorry, the highest he's going to go, however way you want to say it. But I just think that people, like, you know, just that kind of momentum of certain players just runs up the draft board. And I just think, I say, especially with some of the moves like Kansas, Miami could be interested. Dallas definitely interested. You know, I think he's definitely going to be gone way before. I think he's going to be gone before Dallas. I really do. I mean, I've even heard some fans of the Giants want him at 5. So this guy might even be out the way before us anyway. But that'd be a bit high for me, 5. But again, lockdown corners, as we keep calling them, is they're worth a top 5 pick, aren't they? Through a lockdown.
So, yeah, absolutely. So how do you think then he fits with the team? If we pull it off and we obviously take Mansoor Delane, what do you think he gives you? Is it the flexibility? Is it physicality immediately coming in as CB1? What do you think, Scouse?
Yeah, he's definitely going to come in as probably the starter, as in at CB1. I think he gives you that kind of. He's not scared of tackling. A lot of DBs, especially corners, don't like to tackle. They think of it as business decisions. They don't want to get hurt because they can't tackle for shit. Let's face it. Just stick a head in there and hope they don't break their own necks. That's all they do. It's not very good. But when you got certain corners who love the physicality of the game and will tackle properly and look for that tackle, you know, that's always an instant upgrade, because that's even good in the run game. Do you see what I mean? Rather than just in the pass game. So. I think it gives you good, high quality at both levels. You know, I say with the deep ball, with the intermediate passes. I say he's got that ridiculous speed. He's like glass. You know, he's so smooth in his movements. You know, which is always translates well to the NFL. I just think, like, I say he would definitely upgrade our cornerback room in a big way. And I say, and then Amos on the other side, and then Mikey kind of in and out. I mean, you know, that's nice. You know, Amos was looking good until he got hurt. You know, and say we've got with him there, we have quality corners there. And yes, Stony Ball depth, but Now, as your starters, I'm very, very happy with them if you got that. And saying that one, I mentioned before, it will make it better for Armstrong and Orway to do some damage on the rushing the passes as well. So I just think, we'll be a lot more stingy on defense, which means it helped JD out quite a lot as well. So, I would not hate the move if we got him.
No, me neither. Going back to transitioning back to not Mansoor Delane. We're talking about Mansoor Delane. Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about there.
He looks smooth as glass, mate. He's just,
That's exactly where I was going with that. We were talking about oh bloody hell, what's his name? We just talked about him. No, not Delane. Safety.
Downs.
Caleb Downs. Sorry, that's what I was saying. Yeah. So Downs is saying there, Will was putting in the chat, and that's what confused me there. I had a bit of a brain fart, so apologies if you're listening to this in audio. It's saying it was a partial meniscus tear and a degenerate ACL. But then obviously going on from that, it's saying it's been denied by his camp, and NFL teams have said it wasn't on the combine medical. So, yeah, I've just said I'll go back and listen to Kimes' pod, and then obviously... and then Jesse's obviously come in as well and said some teams aren't worried about it, but I wouldn't take the chance, especially since there will be others available at higher value at 7, including Delane, if they want him. And
that's even if that's legit. If that is actually a genuine thing they saw in medical, they say combine medical didn't even happen. It wasn't even written on there. So, it didn't happen at pro day. He looked good in pro day. He didn't look like he was injured.
Yeah, true.
So, you got to see what you see, and obviously, if you are 100% after this guy, and you love the guy, and surely you try and get an MRI done before as part of a medical follow up before you try and select them. You know what I mean? So
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can. That's something I'm not sure if you can or can't do.
That's what the medical team should have done in the first place. If they potentially have these problems, a partial tear and degenerative ACL and all this, well, then that should have been MRI'd. And if it was true, then it wouldn't just be one person saying, do you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, he's got a bad knee, when nobody else is saying it. So it's kind of like, I'm going with the majority at the moment. You know what I mean? The majority is saying that he's fine, then he's fine. So.
Okay, well, thank you for that. So Will says here, teams can request their own medical if they get players on the top 30 visit. Now, I know he is on one of our top 30 visits, so I suppose that's one way to find. That's one way to find out, isn't it?
They'll find it then, won't they? Do you know what I mean? So, and to be fair,
exactly.
Player, you wouldn't go to it, would you? If you know you got a dodgy knee, would you really go and hope that the MRI comes back clean? You wouldn't, would you? You just go, you know what? There's no point in me going to this pro day if you're going to MRI my knee. If he knows he's got a bad knee. You know what I mean?
So Jesse also says teams definitely need to do the due diligence before drafting him, just to dispel rumors. Exactly. Yeah, I don't disagree with you in any way, shape, or form, Jesse. You're absolutely right, and thank you as well, Will and Yam.
But that one person, though, I mean, it's like me saying, "Oh yeah, do you know Delane's only got 3 toes?" You know what I mean? Like you just make some shit up and then go, "Fucking hell!" Some guy said that he's only got 3 toes on that right foot, and we can't draft him now because see what I mean? See how it can catastrophize straight away over just one person saying something over bollocks. So, and then everybody else has said, no, he's talking a load of crap, which is what's basically happened with Downs' knee so far. So that's why I'm sticking with that. His knee's fine at this moment.
So other news then in Washington Commanders land just come out now. The Commanders are signing veteran cornerback Akello Witherspoon. He started 24 games over the last 3 years. And he's had 5 interceptions with the Rams. Obviously, he came in yesterday for a cup of tea and a visit, and obviously we've liked what we saw, and we've said, yeah, we'll sign him. Bit of depth there, really going to be veteran minimum kind of contract, I'm assuming. Another one of Adam Peters' guys who he drafted. So it's a bit of depth there, I suppose. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think depth. I'd say he's played games. He's experienced. He must have been pretty reasonable to get 24 games in the last 3 years. So, he's I'd say he's a depth piece. I expect him to be, CB4 at best. So Yeah, I say I'm not. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I just find it a little bit boring sometimes when you look at like nearly every guy that we bring in, we sign. It's always an ex 49er. You know what I mean? Soon we're going to be
But look,
some
wasn't
49ers. You know what I mean? Like,
weren't we the Washington Panthers at one stage though?
Yeah, I didn't like it then either. Do you know what I mean? It's just a case of, yeah, I understand. Like, the player, you've drafted, you did your homework on him, when he was coming into the NFL years ago. I get it. I understand it. But it's just like sometimes you just think, man, I don't want to be just the second coming of the 49ers. You know what I mean? Or the Panthers or whoever, I want it just to be us. So.
Will says Witherspoon is much better depth than Jones and Noah. I don't disagree with that in any way, shape, or form as well. I think he's a good cornerback to have as depth. Yeah, but what he's saying is it's much better depth than them signings. Yeah, so I asked people to put in the chat. I said, who would you take at 7? Pop it in the chat. Will obviously says Bailey, Love, Styles, Downs in that order. Jesse says Bailey, Love, Styles, Bain in no particular order. I would go pretty similar. Bailey, Styles, Downs, Love.
I just think Bailey and Downs.
Delane, don't care.
So
I think, Styles for me says Yam. Styles. I think Styles goes at 5. I think so. Here's a question for you then, Scouts, and for the chat. We'll get everyone's view on this. We'll transition slightly away from that. What are we thinking here? Does money come into it? If you're the GM, you're Adam Peters, you got your GM hat on. Let's play that scenario. You're sitting there at 7. You're saying to yourself, well, safety, yeah, it's not really a massive money prospect at the moment. Cornerback, yeah, corners get a lot of money. Wide receivers, however, are getting paid $42.5 million now if you're the top of the game. Obviously it's a position of need as well, wide receiver. We don't have a wide receiver 2 currently. Terry's getting older, probably isn't going to be here after this up and coming season. Do you look at someone like a Carnell Tate if he's there?
At 7?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's too high I genuinely believe it's too high for Tate. I think most of these receivers, they're good, but they're not going to be great. Do you know what I mean? And when you're looking at your wide receiver, really, if you're gonna be looking at the top 10 of any draft for a wide receiver, there should be a wide receiver 1, really, or at the very least a 1B. If they're not that, then there's a waste of time, really, of drafting somebody that high. Unless you genuinely believe with coaching that he could be the wide receiver 1 in your team, after a year or 2. It could happen, if we went Tate, does David Blau think he can truly train him up to be a true wide receiver 1 when Terry goes at the end of next season? If they genuinely believe that, I would not be happy if they took him at 7 personally. But I'd kind of understand the game. I'd understand the thought process on it. But for me, we got other needs really before that. I do still think Ayuk's going to come. So. And he'd be our wide receiver 2. I think he'd be our wide receiver 2. So I'm not worried about if he missed out on a Tate or Tyson or whoever. Tyson's probably the best receiver in this thing. And yet
he's just got no knees or hamstrings.
Yeah, he's got bad knees and hamstrings. This guy's torn everything up many times. So this is why, it's a tough one. I think there's some good receivers in this, but you're not really looking at a true wide receiver 1 really coming out of any of these dudes. You say at best wide receiver 2s. Now again, we do need a wide receiver 2, but I just think that I think Ayuk's gonna come in. So I don't think we're gonna go receive just because of that. And even though Ayuk might come in after the draft, but I do think Ayuk's gonna be our number 2. So. And then if he's fit after 1 season, they might pay him to be the wide receiver 1. Because in the day, he was wide receiver 1 when he got that big contract. Only a few years ago, 2-3 years ago, for the injury. So, it's it looks like he's technically got, if he's fit enough and playing well enough, he has got that skill set to be a wide receiver 1. If that makes sense, Ayuk. So,
absolutely, he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL 2 years ago.
So that's why you're better off taking him, playing wide receiver 2 this year, and if he does the business, sign him to wide receiver 1 money next year, when Terry's gone. And then, okay, we're still looking for wide receiver 2 again, but at least then there's a lot more better high quality wide receivers in next year's draft. So
yeah,
I'll be staying put according to wide receiver. I'm trying to stay away from it if I can. So
okay, yeah, Jesse agrees with you. Says Tate's wide receiver 2. I just don't understand taking him that high. I'd rather take Downs at 7, and I don't want to take Downs. And then obviously Will says Tyson would be the only wide receiver worth the 7 if he wasn't made of glass. Yeah, exactly right. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. They are all wide receiver. They are all wide receiver 2s, aren't they? And it's quite a deep class if you want a wide receiver 2. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you can go into the 3rd round.
Yeah, you can say. I think 2nd round you can get some real good ones. I think Evan Stewart would be a brilliant wide receiver 2. Out of Michigan, and I think he plays. You know, I'd say he's probably going to be end of 1st, early 2nd. Now, again, we haven't got a 2nd, but what I'm saying is that there's good quality receivers if you're just looking for a true wide receiver 2. There's plenty of them, so you don't have to draft high with Tate and Tyson and all these other two dudes out there. So, yeah, I'd stay away personally.
Yam says this is why I'm blatantly wanting us to take Surratt at 71. I think it's too soon for him. He's a possession receiver, and whoever we get as our wide receiver 1 next draft, Surratt will carry that spot post Terry. I don't disagree with you. He is a bit of a slot wide receiver, you know, but he is gadgety. He's a spark plug. Surratt, very good. Will says Evan Stewart isn't in this draft. Apparently,
in this draft, I thought he was.
No.
Did he not? Oh, my bad then.
Might not have declared. Who's the wide receiver at the end of the draft that's kind of going around 26? Is kind of where I'm looking at. Very good wide receiver as well. I can't remember his name for the life of me, so I'd have to look back. Offense wide receiver. Let's see. Amar Cooper Jr. Cooper Jr. from Indiana is very good, but I think he's the back end of the 1st round. I mean, there's lots. Bernard from Alabama's pretty good. If you're looking for a wide receiver 2, you can go right the way further back. You can go Ted Hurst from Georgia State's pretty good. Obviously, Elijah Surratt we've just talked about, and then you're into the Zachariah Branches of the world and people like that further on going down there. I didn't realize that either, Will. I mean, I'm not a massive college football buff. I only kind of watch the prospects when we get to this time of the year. They don't have any affiliation to college football. Scouse, you're a Gators fan. Obviously, with you working out in Florida and working for the Gators for a little bit of time. So that's your alumni, shall we say.
I don't watch it as heavily as I would do the Washington, you know what I mean? Because I don't get the option.
Yeah, no, I don't. Don't get the opportunity to do it over here. It's very difficult to watch through ESPN on a Saturday. We don't get much. It's a lot more now. We're getting more and more college football, but we're not getting it to the same level as the coverage we would.
Just get like main games. Don't get like these lesser teams matches showing up. No way. Like in the States, you can just watch nearly every match. If you got enough TV channels, you can watch nearly every match that's out there. But over here, you get 1 or 2. You know what I mean? So.
Mark Fields is a true boundary receiver. If he's there at 71, you take him. Yeah, we will get into that.
6'4", big guap, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a big old boy, and he's a big old boy. Right, well, we'll transition into it then. We'll get into Q&A. Let's bring it over to the fans. We've got about 10 minutes or so. So if people want to put stuff in the chat, write in the chat, and we'll answer the questions that are on there. That's absolutely what we're here for. But we have got some questions that have come in to us prior to this. So the first one is, this is from Deluxe. It says, this regime has been very good at keeping things in-house. If they are interested in Love, as some reports say, couldn't that be the team trying to get Love to go before they pick, so possibly drop the player they really want into their lap? So a bit of mind games here is what Deluxe is thinking. Are we trying to say, is everyone trying to push the Jeremiah Love situation onto us through the media and through podcasts, whatever else? And actually, that's not who we're after.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's so hard to live in the mind of somebody you never met. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? So it's a tough one to go. Or, you know, the AP is definitely going to pick this guy or that guy, because again, the guy you might really, really want might go before.
Yeah,
and that's
you
the
don't
thing.
know.
And then that's the thing with the draft. You just don't know who's going to be there at the time. That's why you've probably got 3 or 4 genuine guys in your head that you'll take any of those guys if they're still there. And you probably got them.
I mean, that's it. I mean,
we
don't know, do we? Their big board might have like Styles as number 1. You know what I mean? And then they're like, right, that's it. And if he goes to the Giants at 5, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay.
Well, that's why everyone's got a big board, haven't they? That's why everyone's got a board. And they go, okay, well, he's gone. He's next guy up. And they're happy with those seedings. You know what I mean? Do you think the only time when things change like that, it's that kind of thing where if there's a guy who it's not normally the first top 10 picks, it's normally kind of a case later on. We go, but that guy fell, didn't realize he was going to be there at this time, and then that's when things really change your board up. You know what I mean? So at 7, it's very rare that they're gonna have 3 or 4 dudes that I know at least one of them's going to be there at that point. And that's who they're going to select. And I say, I don't think you can get it genuinely. I don't think you can get pick 7 wrong, unless you're looking for a different completely position. If you're looking for if you do Connell Tate, I think that's wrong. I think that's a wrong one. But if you're looking at your corner, you're looking at your running back, you're looking at safety, even linebacker, because all these guys are quality dudes. So so I've got no problems with those positions. Even though RB, I know I think Barkley went 1, didn't he, originally in this draft? Did he go 1 for the Giants?
He did. Okay.
But again, only generational RBs get taken that high normally, and everyone thinks Love's going to beat it. So if that's the case, then if they genuinely believe that Love is the main dude, well, then if he's still there, you're running to the podium to get him, aren't you? Let's face it. So.
Yeah. You are the real Benjamin 789. He says Jeremiah Love at 7. Also, he says Jesse said then Love pick in the top 5 doesn't make financial sense. And then obviously he's come back. Eben, the real Benjamin, saying then trade up. I can't see us trading up at all, mate. I find that quite odd that you would trade up. I mean, what with as well? We haven't got anything to trade up unless you're looking at next year's picks, which I don't want to see.
You don't want to mess with next year
any of that. Nothing at all. Jeremiah Love, yes, I would take him at 7. Absolutely. I think it's a good move if we do take him at 7. But is there other needs?
If you're going to pick Love and you're going to keep Allegretti at centre and Chris Paul at left guard, then you better not give the ball to Love running through those 2 areas. End the story, because them 2 aren't good at run blocking. So it's kind of you got to go on zone. Outside stuff all the time. There's no point in running in between the tackles. It just isn't worth it. So if we are going to be a purely outside zone guy, run team style, then fair enough. But if not, then I think you need to upgrade those 2 areas big time if you want Love to succeed. Love can only do so much. I see Genty. Everyone was going how good Genty was. He didn't look that good last year. Why? Because his whole line kept getting blown up, and he was getting the ball, getting tackled 5 yards. As soon as he got the ball, you know what I mean? Like, as in, like, yards behind the back of the old line. So he was making negative plays. He was getting hit at negative yardage every time. So that's what I don't want to happen to Love. If Love comes here, to see what I mean? Because, Love will do so much, and you might break away one and take one to the house and all that. But the thing is, most of the time, he's going to get stuck behind the centre and the left guard. It's a problem. So this is why... you take Love, you better upgrade those 2 positions as well. Otherwise, you're going to struggle. Love will struggle with us.
Scott G says, evening, guys. Just don't draft Andrew Lockhart at 7. We'll be fine. Don't draft me either at 7, that's for sure.
He's first, mate. I think that's a first. I think I'm number 1. I'm a number 1 rank overall, not 7th.
Wow. I mean, come on now.
Hey, if Mendoza's a 1, so am I.
Genty's going to be far better this year. I don't disagree with you either, Yam. I mean, okay, then chat.
Why is that? Why is it going to be better next year? They've upgraded their whole line. They've got the best cut and they've got the best centre in the league.
Exactly.
See what I mean? They paid big money out and helped and sorted the guards out. And now we've not done that. Yeah? So we're going to end up with a good running back but can't do shit. so that's my problem with picking Love first. I say Love's a great player. It's just a case of he's going to be getting hit in the backfield a lot. So
So Jesse says here, Scouts once again underrating the team that had the fourth best rushing attack last year.
Hey, I'm going off your PFF crap, mate.
You're going off the eye test.
Chris Paul was a 38 run blocking grade. So yeah, that's top draw, that bro. Yeah, keep him in the team. And then you know how bad Allegretti is. Everyone knows he's fucking shite. Come on, and now he's going to be starter.
I don't think he will be. I think there'll be somebody in.
There'll be somebody.
I think a
Cushenberry's not even signed, has he? Cushenberry got signed today.
Did he?
Not by us. I think it was Buffalo.
Oh.
And even then he's injured. So I don't get it either.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one. Let's have a quick look then at other questions that we've got in. Paul Viander Turner, he says, speed and younger seems to be the strategy this season, but which veteran from last year do you think they'll bring back if he's still available? So free agents that we've got rid of, is there any veterans that we've got rid of this year that you'd bring back after the first wave of free agency?
I'm struggling, to be fair, mate. Who do you think?
Jacob Martin, maybe. I know. Or did he get picked up by somebody? I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he did. I think he went to the Bengals, didn't he? No, I don't think there's anybody really out of what we've already signed back. I can't. Buffalo. It was Buffalo that Cushenberry went to, right? Okay, fair enough. So Ethan Pocic is still out there. On that, as a seamless transition, then Paul Fiona Turner's second question, who is at having a Radox on X, he says, also, which centre do you think they might pick up in the draft for depth? For me, Matt Golbin, stats are unreal and can play guard too. You like, is it Connor Lew or Law? I don't know how you pronounce his name.
Connor Lew's good. I mean, I prefer Logan Jones ahead of him personally, even though he's rated lower. I just like a white Iowa O-lineman. I think they always produce very technically sound guys. So I don't think he was there in the fourth. Oh, when did we pick? 170, something like that. 170. Yeah. He won't be there then. But I think 71's too high. You know what I mean? So he's in between there. But it's and he could be a true starting center. Like, I'm not saying he's just some random potential man. He could actually be a starter. So, and there's a couple of guys there.
He's the most polished center at the minute. I mean, I get Matt Golbin. I understand him from Michigan State. Connor Lew is the most Logan Jones is the other one that we were talking about at Iowa. Connor Lew from Auburn's very good.
That's the one. Brailsford, that's the other guy who's got a bit more raw talent. And then you've got Slaughter as well from Florida.
Well, Slaughter's been scouted by us. That's already out there. Sam Heck as well from Kansas State. He's on the big board at around about 56 by most people looking at him. I don't think we'll have any draft capital to even have a chance at getting him. I think he'll be the first one off the board. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens at centre. But thank you for your question, Paul. Christian from UK HTTC blogs. Go over and Google search UK HTTC and you'll find Christian's work. He's just done a fantastic article on the running backs. So go and have a look at that. He says, what is the one thing you do not want the Commanders to do in round one in the draft?
Trade down with Philly. That's the one thing I don't want them to do.
You don't want them to trade down with Philly? I don't want them to take.
I don't want to pick a receiver.
Yeah, okay, I get you that. Not a receiver or a centre or a lineman. Anything but them, I'm comfortable with. I think you can't go wrong really outside of that. Christian, the comment that was following that on that post from Christian was don't listen to Ron Rivera. That was quite cool. Especially first round picks have not been exciting there, Ron. So thanks, Ron. Yeah, thanks for that. One other bit of news, mate. Before we get away, there's a special delivery on the 15th of April. The Washington Commanders dropped a little bit of a tease video earlier that we are indeed getting brand new uniforms. It's basically, we know it's going to be the Super Bowl era uniforms. that they're going to be adapting. What the helmets and color combinations look like, we'll have to see. Jesse, you're going to love this because it's going to be the old ketchup fries dipped in ketchup again with the mustard yellow pants, as you like to call them. You're going to love and absolutely love this. But yeah, what can you do? We kind of knew this was coming already. Thoughts on new unis? Are you that bothered, especially when jerseys on Fanatics are now like $30?
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, as I say, I never really cared about what the uniforms look like. You know what I mean? It's always been I'll buy a jersey, sure, but it doesn't really bother me per se. I mean, I'm just like, yeah, fair enough. You want a new kit? That's fair enough. To stop ripping us off for paying like $400 for like an authentic shirt.
Right, that's the problem. Yeah, you love a shirt like that as well. You do. So you're always paying a little bit more. I'll just buy the cheap stuck-on crap. I don't care. It goes on my back for while the season's on. And that's pretty much it.
I just don't like iron-on stuff. I prefer embroidered. I like embroidered stuff. You know what I mean? Not and obviously to get that costs a lot more. So it's So we get shafted.
Speaking of new jerseys, don't forget, if we hit 500 subscribers before the draft, which we're aiming to do, we were giving away a jersey of whoever the Washington Commanders pick is in that first round. So just type in the chat if you're on live with us now. Just type done for subscribed. If you are watching on a replay, type on the comments done. We will collate them all over the next few weeks until the draft comes, and then you'll be put onto a wheel, and we'll spin the wheel, and whoever wins it wins it. And we're open. You can speak to other winners in the past. Yam, you can testify for this. Tim Towno also checks in with us. Rod Morrison, who's on here most weeks. I know he's on holiday in Lanzarote at the minute, so shout out to Rod. Mike, Canada Mike, he obviously is one off us as well. So we've done lots of competitions. So we have a spinny wheel. It's Scott G hates it. He'll testify as well. He thinks it's a fix every time.
It really isn't. The only name on it.
And he says it's rigged, and any drawing is rigged. Lol. I knew you'd still be there, Scott, with that comment. But yeah, let's get us to 500. Come on, guys, we can do this. You know what I mean? We can do this together. We've been doing this, bleeding it out for nearly 3 years now. We get this. We've got a great community who come on live. We really appreciate you. We think it's the time. Also, shout out to everybody who watched the last show. It's our highest ever views. We can't thank you enough for being here. Got a great little community on the live streams. All these people we've met, most of them anyway. Will, I don't think we've met you, but we will have to meet you at some point. If you're in London, great. Or if you're at week one, we'll meet you there and have a beer. Everybody else we've kind of met. I've been on several streams with Scott G, but never met him in person. Everybody else we've kind of met who's in our chat. But let's push this far and wide. So it's only fixed if I don't win. Look, Jesse, if you want a jersey, you just have to have a word, mate. I'll just send you random packages to your house anyway, so it's all good. It's all good. Yam says, I don't get the Biadish cut. I know he wasn't great, but we really didn't save a lot and think we need better is beyond just depth. Agreed. Yam says, send me to London, please. You can come to London if you want, mate, but to be honest, I don't really like the place. You know what I mean? Being a northerner and Scouse being a northerner as well. London it's okay. Jesse, you can give your thoughts as well on London. It's not the best place, being perfectly honest. Burrows will as a Londoner will say otherwise. But yeah, it's as a tourist, it's great. As someone who lives there or lives in the rest of England, England is not just London. Please explore it if you're coming over this side of the pond. Go right round England and you'll find some beautiful places. We've got amazing beaches, hills, mountains. West Country's amazing. The north is fantastic as well. So get out and find us. London. Yeah, for me. Jesse says Chanel is not going to be the Mike. Not sure how they feel about McGee, so we might bring back Bobby Wagner.
See, I don't like that idea with Wagner.
I don't like that idea either.
It's just because Wagner doesn't seem to be like a guy who teaches players. he doesn't want to take reps off to give other guys game time. Last year really cemented it for me. It was a case of how can you come out to the defensive coordinator was saying, come off, and he's like, no. And it's like, so he doesn't take a down off. And the problem is like McGee needs reps. Wagner doesn't. Actually, Wagner could use some actual rest, being his age. And no, wasn't having it. So for me, I just think that's a bit. I'd rather pass on that again. So I'd rather pass on it. I'd say, yeah. I mean, again, this is where the Styles thing could come in. If Styles is there at 7,
true,
that'd be different.
Yeah, exactly. Jesse says, don't eat the blood pudding. It's not called blood pudding. It's black pudding. You know it, and it's for winners. Puts hairs on your chest. It's great. you don't like you don't like black pudding at all, do you, Scouse? It's not for you. It's not for your. It's definitely for me. I like it. I think it's decent. But there you go. It is what it is. If I'm getting a breakfast, or a breakfast sandwich, black pudding's definitely on the menu for sure. Will says, loaded linebacker class, could draft a Mike. I don't see Chanel transitioning it in. I could see Chanel transitioning it into one, though. Yeah, I think he could. He could transition into a Mike linebacker, absolutely. But you're right. We can draft a Mike linebacker. There's plenty out there on that as well. All right, I think that's pretty much us wrapped up. Anything else they want to talk about? Is anything that Scouse, that's been happening in and around the NFL? We talked last week, I think, about Jackson Smith and Jigba's enormous deal.
Did we speak about it? I think we spoke about it.
Yeah. Oh, maybe not on here. But yeah, $142 million over 4 years, highest guaranteed money as well for a wide receiver, 42.5 million average salary for a wide receiver, which is the highest in NFL history. I think this is a ridiculous contract, being perfectly honest. Is he a top 5 receiver in the league? You could argue it. Is he top 10?
Oh, he is.
Definitely top 10. Is he a top 5 receiver in the league?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. His numbers were number 1 last year, mate.
I know he was.
So, I don't understand you fight with Chase, Jefferson, I get it, but
that's what I'm saying. Jefferson, he is elite, Scott. I'm not going to deny that he's not elite, but Jefferson, Nakua, who else is out there? Top receivers.
It was just smart by Seattle to do it now.
Do you think so? No. Because Nakua is going to get the next one. He's going to get the bag.
Yeah, Nakua is going to get paid big. And then in a year or two time, it'll be Chase and Jefferson resetting the market again. It's just going to be the way it's going. It's just the way it is.
Are we now looking now at $50 million receivers in like a year, 18 months time?
Probably in 2 years, yeah.
Wow.
I think that'd be what Chase would be after if he's still producing. I think that'd be his next number he'd be looking for. In 2 years, I think his contract's up for renewal around that time. So,
that is pretty mental, to be honest. I mean, I'm looking now at the.
It's the problem, though, isn't it? This is the problem with the cap going up every year. Because that goes up, you think, oh, it's better because everybody else gets to get some money. No, we can afford better players. No, you can't. The difference is the main guys want more money. That's what happens. Yeah. The main guys just take all that extra cap anyway. So you might as well just keep it at a certain level and just leave it at that. And then that stops this ridiculous $50 million a year, because then it'll be on percentages of the cap again, like it used to be. Nowadays, it's just about setting the market. I want to be the highest paid. I want to be the highest paid. It's. I don't like it.
So I'm looking at the top. I'm looking at the top 10 here. This is obviously average per year. Jackson Smith-Njigba 42.15, Jamar Chase 40.25, Justin Jefferson 35, CeeDee Lamb 34, DK Metcalf 33, Garrett Wilson 32.5, Terry McLaurin 32.3, AJ Brown 32. Amon-Ra St. Brown 30, and then it is Brandon Ayuk at the moment in 10th on 30. T. Higgins, the first, what you would say, wide receiver 2 on the Bengals, obviously not a wide receiver 2 in real life, 28.7. Then it's Alec Pierce, 28.5, Jalen Waddle, 28.2. and then George Pickens is on 27.5. I mean, that's the top 15. It's crazy money already, isn't it? I mean,
and some of those tags, aren't they? Almost on tag as well, isn't he? Isn't Pickens on tag?
Pickens is on tag. Yeah.
So he's been tagged. T. Higgins was on tag, and then did he sign a new deal? Higgins though, did he sign a new deal? Did he?
He did, he did sign a new deal. We're going to give JD 80 million a year. I think it'll be a 70 million a year contract. Will I think it'll be there or thereabouts.
I think it's around 65 to 70. Yeah, I do. Yeah, better not be 80. That's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, go on, mate.
Evening Burrows, shout out to the Commander Bunker. Go and subscribe to the Bunker podcast. Give them a follow. Obviously, Andy, you've joined late, so don't forget you need to put in the chat or a comment, preferably a comment after the video is finished. Type done to say that you subscribe to this show, and we're giving away a jersey of the first round draft pick, and you could be one of them who has subscribed to the show. So don't forget to do that, mate. And yeah, that's about it. Any other chat that you want to talk about, Scouts, before we go?
Not really, mate. Nothing's really standing out. I just want to see. I just want to see some good picks being made, and I hope that Burrows gets like the worst name in the world to announce on stage.
Oh yeah, can you imagine it? Like,
should we give him a second round pick?
Yeah, we could give him a second rounder.
Yeah, if you wait a while, like yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's going to do us for today for another episode of the 1 Point Safety Show. Big thanks to everyone who's joined us live. Great questions, great debate, great chat as always. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you like, subscribe, do all them good things. We do it to you. We'll be back next time with more Commanders content, draft talk, plenty more of what-if scenarios. Boris says he's announcing the first round draft pick. Goodell will have a word with you about that. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. And remember, whether it's the Commanders trade back or not, or stay put, we'll be right back breaking it down. Until next time, we'll see you all again.
Bye.